just island boys. Yeah, we're just island boys. Hey, we're just island boys for the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. DB and Pat in the house. Just some island boys, kicking it, freestyling for some DFS, some betting picks for the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. We're gonna get to that, the island boys here in just a moment. Pat, did you like that? Did you like that?
What is that?
Those are the island boys. You don't know who those guys are?
No, this is not. There's something wrong with those guys. That's not the Island Boys.
Those are the island boys.
Something looks like me and you, but I don't understand.
It is. Our faces may be on there, but we're in Bermuda. It's an island. It's a lovely place, but it's also kind of white trash. Really, the field is, and that's no offense to white folks, but that's kind of what the field looks like. We're gonna get into that here in a minute. We are presented to you by our friends at Covers.com. Winning starts at Covers.com. If you love sports and you love to win, you need to head over to Covers.com. Our new partnership with Covers has been fantastic so far. Hope you're enjoying it. The show's presented by them every week, the betting show. We're going to combine everything in one tonight because it's the Butterfield Bermuda. Okay, let's be honest. And then we've also got our article over there with our head-to-head matchups, our top 20s, top 10s prop bets that we like over there. The only place you can find those bets that we want to lock in every week is on Covers.com, and it's free. Okay, and they've been doing it for over 25 years, and they serve over 20 million sports bettors annually. It is where you go to start your betting process. NFL, college football, the Major League playoffs are here. Pat's ready for that. Pat's in his Braves themed attire. I'm going full island boy with my attire, with my wardrobe here, clashing floral prints. I thought that was apropos for tonight. But head over to Covers.com, check them out, and we appreciate them for sponsoring the podcast. Oh, Kistler's in the chat. He says he's an island boy. Pat, so you haven't seen the Island Boy?
I have not seen what it is you're talking about.
It's taking the world by storm. Let's maybe producer Sam, let's fire this up. Let's show Pat just a glimpse of who the Island Boys are. Maybe get your live reactions. Okay, how about that?
Cause I'm an island boy and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma get key white wine. You're gonna keep that gun. I'll be just staring at the sun. I'm just out fool gazing. I'm like, pool where I'm staying. They're like, you wanna be famous? I'm trying to be out the greatest. I'm a Florida boy. I get real damn tropic. I'm like the
What are your thoughts?
I don't even. That's taken the nation by storm.
Yeah,
that's popular.
They're just Island Boys, man. It's got over 6 million views on TikTok. Everybody's had it. They were on Dave Portnoy's show today or yesterday, Barstool. Everybody just loves the Island Boys, and all they were doing, man, was just kicking it in the pool, freestyling, and that's what came out. You know that, and it ain't. They're not fugazing. They're real.
We don't even know if they're on an island.
That's true, we don't, but they're in a pool. They are in a pool, which a lot of pools.
So they're Island Boys because they're in the pool.
No, they say they're Island Boys. Can't you tell by the accent?
Why do they have to have hair like that to be Island Boys?
They don't have to, but they're unique Island Boys. The one dude's hair rise on his head.
That was.
Can you give me an impression? They're just freestyling. Like, can you give me any of that?
We are just island boys. We are just island boys. We're sitting in the pool and we look like DAs.
Yeah, they look like they got a touch of autism or something going on in there. They got a little dose of something that got in there, man. Those guys, man alive. Can you believe that? And the whole world's laughing at them, and they don't even know. They don't even understand it.
Golly, that's
what I thought.
I didn't know we were going to start this way. Like, I didn't know.
I know, man. Sometimes I try to mix up the start, the beginning. Get out the gate, do something weird. Maybe do something a little, fugazi, crazy, maybe. So that's what I try to do. I try to mix it up a little bit and keep the people guessing, and I think that's what, the Island Boys, that's what we are tonight, baby. We're the Island Boys breaking this down.
Yeah, okay.
We're in Bermuda.
I don't want to be considered the Island Boys. I really don't. Like, I mean, Let's just leave it at that. You can be an island boy if you want to be.
I'm thinking about it for Halloween. I think that if you could come up with a killer Island Boys Halloween costume, I mean, you would win Halloween, I'm pretty sure. You would win a lot of contests.
Not here
You
around
know,
where I live. They would be like, "What is going on with that guy? And why did they let him through the
well,
gate?"
yeah, in the gated community of Savannah. But wait a minute, Pat, I just thought about it. You are an island boy. You live on an island.
Yeah,
Marcus Griffin just said it. Skidaway Island Boys.
I could come up with a different version of that.
Skidaway Island Boys. Skidaway Island Boys.
My goodness. What do we have next to move on to? Are we done? Is this the end of the show?
I guess we can be done, but I'm not going to commit to 0 more Island Boy references before it's over. So anyway, I guess we're doing the Butterfield Bermuda thing. I told people on Twitter, on Instagram, or not on Instagram, but in the Nut Hut, like, did we do some research tonight? Yes, we did. Am I gonna throw some picks out there? Yeah. Am I gonna make some picks like for real later this week? Yes. Am I gonna play a little bit of DraftKings DFS? Yes, I am. But am I excited about it? Am I happy about it? No, I'm not. I'm about as not happy about it as I am that I'm about to eat out this pumpkin over here. So why don't we just do that? Why don't we just get that over with? Because I need to go ahead and not think about that anymore.
Get on that pumpkin.
Last week for the Zozo, Hideki closed it out after the most just the biggest Hideki troll press conference of all time press conferences, when he told everyone that he on Wednesday for the presser, he rated his game less than 1 out of 10 in terms of where his swing felt at the moment. And I put the quote up on Twitter and I said, guys, take this with a grain of salt. This is the same man who would let go of the club, already be staring at his divot and cussing his caddy, for pulling a shot, 15 feet left of the flag. So he tends to be hard on himself, hypercritical, all that stuff. And, he turned around and won the thing. So that's all we got to say about that. I'm tired of these short numbers winning these fall season events. This really messes with the DB's Big Balls betting card mojo when you got Sam Burns and, freaking Hideki. And what was the other one? Who's the other shorter number that won just recently?
Well, I hit.
Yeah, you hit Sungjae at 33.
So this is a little bit longer.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't like that, man. I need long numbers here. I need long numbers to win. I need these long shots hitting it. But anyway, you thought that Mackenzie Hughes was going to have a great week. I thought you were insane. Turns out Mackenzie Hughes figured out how to, hit the ball yet last week. He finishes T9, and
he was like 4th.
Whatever. He was top 10. I had Maverick McNeely, and we spun the betting wheel and the penalty. It's the week of Halloween, Pat, and I'm not going to be here next Monday night. I don't know if you remember that. You probably don't. But next Monday night, you either got to do it on your own, or you got to find a host. I'm not here, so we had to do something Halloween themed, and we decided, Pat said, maybe somebody should eat out a pumpkin, raw dog a pumpkin. So not raw dog, but you know what I mean. So,
that's a nice size pumpkin. That's a nice,
that's like an emoticon level pumpkin.
That's a pretty looking pumpkin.
That's a perfectly round pumpkin. And I've already taken I was going to do it a slightly.
You should eat from the top. You
want me to just take a bite out of the top of it?
I don't know. I think I don't know. Maybe if you're eating out a pumpkin, you need some insides.
Well, this is the insides.
Yeah, but it's the top. It's the top of the insides.
I think there's a couple things people should know. I am not a fan of pumpkin anything. Like I don't eat pumpkin pie. I don't eat pumpkin seeds. I don't do any of that. I don't drink pumpkin spice lattes, so I don't do that. And B, I do have a gag reflex. I'm not kidding. This is how many pounds is it? This has got to be, I don't know. This has got to be like a good. Look at my head compared to this thing, right? Like it's a sizable pumpkin. Look at that bad boy right there.
Oh,
see
look
that?
at the insides.
Nothing's been tainted here. Nothing's been tainted. Perfectly clean inside of a pumpkin, seeds and everything in there. I'm actually just gonna go in by hand, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna have to go rinse off real quick and clean up. That's what you tend to have to do after after you eat out a pumpkin. There's usually a cleanup process. So I figured you guys would give me at least that. I've got a little tequila tonight. I'm going
You need to
Casamigos.
get that thing. I'm about
Can you
to
tell
throw-
can you tell I'm kind of delaying
Yeah,
right
'cause
now?
I don't want you to. I'm almost delaying. Oh, goodness.
Dude, the texture of this, it's like very rubbery. I think it's gonna take me a while to chew it.
You gotta chew it down.
I may throw up back.
Don't let those seeds get in your way.
I'm an island boy. I'm just kidding. Ah! AC,
Eat it!
think about it. I
Eat
can't
out that
think about it.
pumpkin!
I have to eat a pumpkin raw. Call off a bet. I can't chew it and swallow it, dude. I can't.
Oh my god! Oh god!
Swallowing is not. It's so chewy.
I'm so happy I came up with this idea.
It's still in there. I just want people to know that I cannot swallow this stuff. I can't swallow it.
Can't breathe. I can't.
Okay, I gotta swallow some of this stuff.
No.
Ha.
Oh my god! I don't know how this is going to do on a podcast. They aren't watching this one. Oh. Oh my goodness.
Ah.
Oh. Oh, I should probably talk, but I can't. I can't talk. Oh my goodness. I have not seen many things that funny in my life. But DB eating out a pumpkin was one of my all-time favorite moments on the show. One of my all-time favorite moments. Oh, wow.
Do you think that would have been easier for you, Pat?
I don't know. I was so glad I did not have to eat out a pumpkin. I mean, Mackenzie Hughes, God bless you, son. God bless you, Mackenzie Hughes. Whew. Yes. Hey, what did it taste like, DB?
It really wasn't the taste. The texture. I mean, the taste is like bland as anything, but the texture is very like rubbery and does not go down easily for me personally. So I don't do well with these eating things. All right, well, we're 14 minutes into this.
Good for you. I'm happy you. I mean,
okay.
I can just smell the inside of a pumpkin right now. It's not. Makes me miserable.
Can you? It's really pungent. Stings the nostrils. Can you go ahead and do the?
Yeah, let's talk about the course this week for the Butterfield Bermuda Championship in Southampton, Bermuda.
By the way, you know what Butterfield is? Do you know?
A type of pumpkin?
No. I was really hoping it was actually a butter company.
I feel like it should be like bread, like a bread
I was
company.
really hoping it was a butter company because I'm like, what are the T markers going to be like? Little
Yeah.
sticks of margarine right there. And then I was thinking, like, how does h- how does the tour get? How does a butter company look at the PGA Tour and go, you know what? We want to advertise with that demographic. We're going to sponsor a tournament, and then we can't get an alcohol sponsor. Like I was thinking, like, how does that even add up? But Butterfield is actually a bank in Bermuda, so forget all that. Anyway, continue.
Good for that bank. Anyway, so we're at the Port Royal Golf Club this week. They've played here. This will be the third year in a row they've played here. It is a par 71 playing just over 6,800 yards. So it's obviously not very long when you look at the average distance for courses on the tour. We are at a field of 132 players this week, although
130 now.
they keep
130 now.
losing people and they maxed out. Like they don't have any. I've never seen this. Like they don't have anybody else that can be an alternate. Like I couldn't even, if I wanted to be an alternate, I couldn't be. They've
Well,
already.
yeah, they've already maxed out the alternates. Now they're going to an invitation list. I don't think they're gonna. It's 130 people now, but I think if you showed up there with your sticks and you're fully vaccinated and a negative COVID test, they'd let you play.
I'd probably get to play. But you got pretty much Bermuda grass tee to green this week. They do have a little bit of zoysia in the rough. These greens are not terribly difficult. You get a lot of comparisons to Maui this week, the plantation course, very hilly course, lots of elevation changes on this course. Depending on the weather and the winds, this could be a birdie fest. Now, we're getting a lot of rain, I think, out there the first couple days this week. And then Thursday is a ton of wind. And then it's going to kind of settle down just a little bit. But it is a pretty easy course. I mean, there are 3 easy par 5s here, several attackable par 4s. But again, like I said, you get a lot of wind, and this course can be a little bit more difficult. When Brian Gay won here last year, he won at 15 under, but then you had Brendan Todd at 24 under. So, a little bit of difference there, but we had way more wind and weather last year with Brian Gay. As far as the course itself, though, it's a ball strikers course. I mean, you got to be. You look at the winners here: Brendan Todd, Brian Gay. Okay, all right, these guys are accurate off the tee. They're good ball strikers. That's really all you got to look at. But pretty much anybody in this field, I think, has a shot. Just even some of the longer guys. Like Wyndham Clark was right there with Brian Gay last year. He's one of the longer players on tour. So, if I'm looking at stats for this week. Definitely looking at form, ball striking, strokes gained approach, putting on Bermuda, probably a little bit of driving accuracy as well. But that's about it. That's all I really got, DB.
Yeah, I'm not rattling off a bunch of stats, man. I think, I think you're right. Anybody can win this thing. The wind is going to play a big factor. I would say this: don't lock in a whole lot until we see wind and tee time wave advantages. I think this is this thing could turn into like a little bit of the Open Championship, in terms of wave advantage, definitely. So if it's real blustery for one wave over another on one day, I would just say, like, don't get too committed to spending your units before you really have that nailed down, because this thing could get nasty. There's some big storm, nor'easter or something coming through that could wreck some things up a little bit. So I think pay attention to that for sure. Other than that, man, I mean, it's like, you're looking for value, looking for I like some guys with some experience around here. Having played this course once or twice would be cool. But other than that, man, form, ball striking, being comfortable in this Bermuda. It's very grainy Bermuda is what we've heard. That it's that real good Florida. It's similar to like that Florida grainy stuff. I mean, Todd and Scotty Scheffler have the course records at 62. Like, could not hardly be two more opposite players right there. And of course, Brendan Todd really screwed me the year he won, because we had Harry Higgs at like 150 to 1, and Higgs was in the final group and lost. So that sucks. But other than that, I thought it was interesting too. I looked at something. Oh, look at Aussie DB dropping in 15 Australian dollars on the super chat. Wow. Thanks for that, dude. I appreciate that. You don't have to do that, but that's very nice of you. Thanks for the pumpkin love there. I guess that converts to about $11 in US. So I could use that to go buy, maybe I'll put that towards my Island Boy Halloween costume effort.
Yeah, there you go.
Get some fake tats. I got to help me figure out, put that in the comments. How could I get that? How could I make my hair? What could I do for my hair to be the blonde French fry looking Island Boy? One thing I thought was interesting, these fairways, hard to hit. Less fairways hit here than the tour average. But here's something interesting. The rough's not that tough, right? Higher greens in regulation per missed fairway than the tour average. So, harder to hit fairways, but easier to hit greens in regulation when you miss them. So, this is all about hitting it close, making some putts, and there you go. Long shot winners. Hopefully, please, God. All right, ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Also, somebody said something about member guest stories. We're going to talk about member guests. I meant to tease that in the beginning. We're going to talk about member guests here in towards the end, whatever free time we have. I got a little video clip we might show. We'll talk about it. But I do want to let people know that if you're interested in investing in cryptocurrencies, which you should right now, because to the moon right now, crypto is killing it. Love opening up my Kraken app and seeing what's going on in the crypto world. If you're not sure where to get started, it's the Kraken app. With Kraken, you can buy and sell over 50 of the most popular cryptos like Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Ethereum, all on the go 24/7. It's easy to get started. You just download the app, create your account. You're investing in minutes. One of the coolest things about buying crypto on Kraken is you don't need a lot of money to try it out. So even if Bitcoin's like right now worth $60,000 per coin, you can buy it for $10 on Kraken. Just get your feet wet. Start nickel and dime, just a little bit at a time here. So find out for yourself why Kraken has one of the most highest rated places to buy crypto for the last 10 years. Visit kraken.com/Tour Junkies now to learn more or search for Kraken. That's Kraken. I can't talk after that freaking pumpkin. Kraken in the App Store. Search for that. We've also got the crypto channel in the Nut Hut that's popping off. My boy, Emmett in there slinging some knowledge. There's another dude in there that I think I only see him in the crypto channel. I don't even think he's in the actual like golf channel. It's a great time. So join that community and get you some Kraken app situation going on. All right, Pat, let's talk DFS. Let's talk bets. Why don't we just say if we're in the range and you like a bet too on a guy or whatever, you can just do that. Basically, I don't care how this goes. So we can start at the 9K range, and you just tell me who you like, and then tell me who you like to bet on. And
okay, well, I got a few guys in here, and
all right.
two of them actually I'll bet on. So I'll start near the top here at 10-5. I like Mito Pereira. I mean, look, has he withdrawn?
As far as we know, Mito is not withdrawn.
Like, ring a bell, Sam. If somebody, we need a bell for this week. If somebody has withdrawn and we don't know it, because it could have happened before we started this show. But anyway, I'm going to go with Mito this week. Look, the guy's been playing fantastic golf. Pretty much, since the start of the new season. Has been playing well. I've been kind of off of him, like just not wanting to play him, but it's hard not to with Mito this week. And then when you look at him as far as betting, some books have him as short as 16-1, but I've seen him at 25-1. So if you get him at that 25 to number, I think that 25-1 number is a really good bet on Mito this week.
That's on points bet right now. I can see.
Points bet this week. Another guy, Seamus Power, he is at 10-2. I think he is a good bet as well. I mean, you look at him at 35-1, which is also on points bet, 35-1. And he's 20-1 on DraftKings. So, that's a pretty good difference there with Seamus Power. I like the way he's been playing. Checks a lot of boxes this week. So Seamus Power at 10-2 on DraftKings also as a bet. Another guy, Taylor Pendrith at 9,100. I like him on DraftKings. I think that's a good number for him. This is a guy who is just, a great ball striker. When you look at his stats on the Korn Ferry Tour, you look at, just his overall play this entire year, whether it's the Korn Ferry Tour or, struggled a little bit on the PGA Tour since he started, but I still like some Taylor Pendrith here at 9,100. I think he's not like necessarily, having a lot of top tens. He's made the cut in the Fortinet, the Sanderson Farms, and the Shriners. All not great finishes, but still, totally different fields than you have this week, even though they are pretty weak, but they're not near as weak as this field is. So Taylor Pendrith there at 9,100. I like him a lot this week. And then my fade is going to be Seabez at 10-7. I don't know. I just don't. Nothing like Christian Bezuidenhout. Like, nothing makes me that excited about him. I just I'm not. I don't want to play him at 10-7. You know, this field is, he's a good player, but whatever. I don't care. Not going to play him at 10-7.
He is a good player, and
Especially if he has high ownership. I don't want to do that.
he's not. This does suit this place does suit his game. I mean, he hasn't played though. He hasn't played a worldwide event since early September. So I don't know. I think you're right. I think paying 10-7 for Seabass feels like taking a raw pumpkin to the mouth is what it feels like. So I agree with that. I mean, I can't play any of these guys that high up. I don't even think I want to play Mito, honestly. I don't hate to play with Mito. I mean, I'm tempted most by him. Of anybody in the 10K and above range, I'm tempted. But for me, it's more these low 9 guys. I agree with you on the Pendrith play. But I like Danny Willett. I like Danny Willett at 9,300, a guy coming off a win at the Alfred Dunhill Links. Obviously, he's comfortable in the wind. Then he comes out at the Shriners, finishes 21st. So he comes in good form. He comes in as a global player with a lot of experience and can definitely play in windy conditions. So I think Danny Willett's a really interesting play, and he's 40-1. I believe that's the best number for Willett. Yeah, 40-1 on PointsBet or DraftKings currently. So I like the Pendrith play. I like Danny Willett, and I think Adam Hadwin is interesting. Coming off of a 6th place finish at the Shriners, made cut at the Sanderson Farms. The ball striking looks to be improving for Adam Hadwin. He's 35-1 in the sports books, and I don't mind the price either on DraftKings at 9,400. I mean, I like Adam Hadwin in terms of possibility to win as good as almost anybody up there, like outside of maybe Mito and I guess Fitzpatrick if he's rolling, but. This is definitely a place where if Brian Gates had the kind of success he's had, a guy like Adam Hadwin could get it going as long as the iron play is solid. So Willett, Pendrith, Hadwin are kind of the 3 for me. I think those are my favorite guys. The Pendrith is your Wyndham Clark, Scotty Scheffler comp that's done really well here. I mean, he's just going to bludgeon the place to death, and you just hope he can roll some putts in because he's the longest hitter in this field probably by a mile. I mean, Thomas Detry hits it a good long ways too, but Pendrith's a stick. So, all right, that's the 9K range in the top of the board. What else we got? Do we want to keep going or should we just stop? Like, what do we think? Should we just quit now?
No. We got to go.
Okay, so we should go. Yeah. All right, 8K range. I'll tell you my favorite play in here, like right off the bat, because there's a few names in here I'm interested in. I'm finally ready. And I'm excited about playing some Stefan Jaeger. I think we may have mentioned him on another podcast this year so far, but I'm glad to see him arrive at a tournament that really suits him. He hasn't done great to start this PGA Tour season. He's only made 1 cut. It was a T26 at the Sanderson. Missed the cut in the other 2 events prior to that. He's never played here before, despite being this is his 3rd time around the sun at the PGA Tour. But the profile of what he does well is is hit a lot of greens, hit a lot of fairways, make some putts, and an incredible short game. So if it does get nasty and windy, and guys start missing more greens, and now up and down and saving par is kind of your friend, and now to make birdie on some of these par 5s, you're having to get up and down. Like I really like that about Jaeger. He's 45-1 on the betting board. I'm not sure I love that number. For Jaeger, but it does kind of show because he's hanging around in this 50-55-1 range. It does kind of show a little bit of value there in terms of DFS, in terms of his price. I think he's nicely priced at 8,400. I like him much better than McCarthy, better than Stallings, better than Sahith, better than Detry here even. And it all goes down to course fit. So he's one of my favorite plays in this range is Jaeger. But then Guido Migliozzi, like we got to play Guido. Like as good as this kid was for the opportunities that he got on the PGA Tour, he's a stud. And I think Guido is, could be one of these guys that makes a lot of noise this year in the limited opportunities he gets because he chose to forego the Korn Ferry Tour Finals and get his card that way. He's going to get some starts on the PGA Tour, and he's going to continue wreaking havoc on the Euro Tour. But 8,300, Guido 8,700. I like that a lot. So I'm going to go with old Guido and Jaeger.
Okay. The two guys I like here in DFS are at the bottom. I like Ryan Armour at 8,100, and I like Joseph Bramlett at 8,200. I mean, we'll start with Bramlett here. You look at his ball striking; he's number 2 in the field in ball striking. He's 5th in strokes gained approach. He's 5th in opportunities gained. So if we do get a scoring week and not as much wind and weather, he checks a box there. You look at the odds for Bramlett; he's at 60-1. He may be longer. I'm just looking at right offhand at the books there, but 61 for Joseph Bramlett, I think, is a good number there. And then Ryan Armour. I mean, this is a Ryan Armour course.
Yikes! I can't play Ryan Armour at 8,000.
But this is a Ryan Armour course.
Can't do it.
He's at 8,100, 22nd in ball striking. He's 1st in good drives gained. He is 35th in strokes gained approach, 1st in fairways gained. So if you want a little difference here, you talked about, so we're talking about driving accuracy versus good drives gained. All right, good drives gained means you still hit the green even if you do miss a fairway. And you know what? That's what he's doing both. He's doing both things: fairways gained, driving accuracy, and good drives gained for Ryan Armour. I mean, this is a Ryan Armour course.
It is.
This is.
I just hate pulling the trigger on him.
Okay. Well, either way, I like Ryan Armour there at 8,100. I do think there's some potential for some higher ownership with him. He is 60-1, by the way.
Dude, I mean, that would be a definite fit. I mean, almost really in this field, literally almost anyone. Actually, anyone in this field at a high ownership. I am not. This is one of those fields where I will not eat the chalk. There's so much in question here.
Yeah, I think Armour can be a chalk. You could eat chalk on him.
No, I'm not eating chalk.
There is not a more perfect course fit on tour.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them. There's plenty of guys like him that have equal or better upside as Ryan Armour, and
not near as much experience.
Chalk. My favorite player in here, I don't even know who the hell it would be, but my favorite player in here, if he's 20%, 25%, there's no way I'm playing that. Like, not even close. I think you could fade anyone in this field who gets chalky. You could fade him. There's not a clear. I mean, even Patrick Reed. We didn't even talk about Patrick Reed. Like, he's head and shoulders the class of the field in terms of cachet and long-term form and just career player. He's obviously coming in playing horribly, but he's already on social media posting about his time in Bermuda. He's an island boy apparently, and he likes it here. So I don't know, like, what do you do with him? But it doesn't matter who it would be. I'm not playing chalk. I'm going to have low ownership DraftKings lineups. I'm not doing it. Or I'll just, or you can bet them if they're chalky, I guess. Whatever. One other name in this 8K range I think is interesting to look at is Lipsky, who's kind of been traveling the globe doing his thing. Just finished 4th in Spain. I think it was in Spain, Andalusia Masters. 22nd at the Fortinet in the first official event of the PGA Tour this year for Lipsky. He's a worldwide player as well. So I think Lipsky's interesting. All right. Anybody else? You good?
Well, who would be your definitive fade?
I don't know. I mean, definitive fade is going to be Higo and always Higo. And people are saying Guido's been playing bad. He has. He's had some bad tournaments, but he's also had, a 7th in there or something recently too. Like, he's kind of back and forth. But when Guido gets he's 7th at the Omega Masters in August, 17th at the Alfred Dunhill Links. These two events in Spain, whatever.
I think for me, it's McCarthy. McCarthy is a guy
who love McCarthy.
He has great course history here, but if you look at his stats recently and his play recently, it has not been all that good. So I think McCarthy is going to be my fade. He probably is going to be higher end. People are going to look at his course history here. But when you just look at, the stats that these guys have to play well here, he's 101st in the field in ball striking. He's 98th in strokes gained approach. Now, he is number 1 in putting on Bermuda, so I'll give him that. But everything else about him just kind of stinks like the inside of a pumpkin.
I'm actually going to challenge you. I'm about to challenge you here. I'm about to piss you off. This is where this is the kind of situations where triggered Pat could come out. But you made me eat you and Mackenzie Hughes made me eat a pumpkin, so I'm going to do it.
I didn't make you eat a pumpkin. Mackenzie Hughes did, and you spun the damn thing 3 times, so you can't blame me.
You had the idea.
I did have the idea.
You talk about McCarthy's form. I mean, while Ryan Armour's form is not bad,
I'm just looking at the last 2 out of 3 events. He's missed 2 cuts out of the last 3 events.
So has Ryan Armour. And the one cut that McCarthy didn't miss was a 17th. The one that Armour didn't miss was a 51st. Armour's worst putting surface, Bermuda. According to Fantasy National, does he gain strokes in the wind? No, actually, he sucks in the wind. Like, very bad.
That's getting into the weeds a little too much.
Oh, okay. See, I think you're just making it convenient for your argument. You love your boy Denny, who gains strokes in the wind.
No,
if you're
gonna sit there and talk about like wind stats, I mean, come on.
Well, that's important
Seriously,
here. We just talked about this.
We don't know. We don't know yet.
I think you're something happened with you and Denny because that's your boy. And
no,
did he piss you off with his miscut when you played him last time or something? Like, I would much rather have McCarthy over Armour. And I'm not spinning the wheel, Sam. Don't put that in the chat. We're not spinning the wheel again this week. We just did it 2 weeks in a row. We're not doing it again. I would much rather have Denny McCarthy over Ryan Armour.
Who do you think is going to be higher owned?
I don't know. God, I mean, I think it should be Denny McCarthy, but
I think Denny McCarthy is going to be higher owned.
Okay, but it might be like
what do we do? What do we talk about when we talk about who we're going to fade in this? Because you didn't even have I brought up the fade before you even talked about it. Like, you were just going to gloss over the fade.
Because I don't.
Denny McCarthy is the guy in here that I think a lot of people are going to play.
Here goes my fade.
I don't think is going to play well. I think, and so that's what I'm doing here.
Okay,
that's what I'm doing here.
All right, well, let's keep it moving. Why don't you start the 7K range?
All right, 7K range turned out weird for me because everybody in this range has the last name that starts with H. It's just really weird. I didn't even know this was going to happen. I just came through. This is what happened. Okay. So I'm going to start with Nick Hardy up there at 7,900. I love Nick Hardy.
I love Nick Hardy. God, it's going to be so hard for me to get off of his jock this year. Yeah. I just want people to know you're going to hear his name come out my mouth a lot this year.
Yeah. Nick Hardy is I mean, he's a great play this week. You look at all the stats for him. I mean, he checks the box in ball striking, good drives gained, opportunities gained,
stone cold killer,
strokes gained approach. Nick Hardy is the man. I love him this week at 7,900. I think that's a great number. Mark Hubbard is also right there at 7,900. I like Hubbard. Old Homeless Hubs, as he goes by on Twitter. You look at his last two events, he did have a 44th at the Shriners, T16th at the Fortinet Championship. I think Hubbard is a really good play this week. He has played here once before, T41 back in 2019. You look at the stats for Hubbard. He's 7th in the field in good drives gained. He's top 25 in ball striking, top 15 in approach and driving accuracy. Putts fairly well on Bermuda grass greens. So Mark Hubbard at 7,900, I think, is a good play. Then down at the bottom, the other H, Lee Hodges, is at 7,300. I like him as well. He's a guy that, I mean, you look at, by the way, I think his odds, yeah. So he's 100-1 on PointsBet, but 65-1 on DraftKings. I mean, that is a huge difference right there. And I think, you maybe PointsBet it, DraftKings, there's something about, to me, with the odds and how they're looking at it from a DFS purpose. And then, when they're putting their regular odds out in their sportsbook, I don't think PointsBet sees it as much from a DFS level. So there sometimes can be a little bit of a difference there on tournaments like this, where they don't necessarily know the players quite as well. So you're looking at Lee Hodges there at 7,300. He's a guy that, I mean, he's been playing really well recently. You look at his last few events, 27th at the Shriners, 45th at the Sanderson Farms. He's just a really solid player across the board. So I like him at 7,300. And then my fade is going to be up atop at 7,700. Lucas Earbert. Yeah. It still starts with an H. I'm going to go with them at 7,700. I just don't see it. I mean, 75th in the field in ball striking, 115th in good drives game. I mean, nothing about his stats look any good whatsoever. And then you look at the recent form for him, missed his last two cuts at the Sanderson Farms and the Fortinet Championship. So Lucas Earbert.
Speaking of odds discrepancies, what did you say you had Taylor Pendrith at? Because I was just scrolling and I saw this.
I had Pendrith at 50-1 on PointsBet, but 35-1 on DraftKings.
Yeah, I just noticed that. I like that a lot on PointsBet. That might be an early one you jump on, despite the despite the without knowing the weather wave situation. That's just a lot of value there for him, I think. So, and then Nick Hardy and Hubbard, we didn't talk about a lot of odds in the 8K range. I mean, I mentioned Jaeger at 45-1, but getting into that Hardy Hubbard range, they're pretty good numbers on PointsBet. They're much higher, both 70-1 on PointsBet. Hardy's 50-1 and Hubbard's 60-1 on DraftKings. I like both of those guys as well. I think, this is a place where Hubbard's got to take advantage, and I think there's maybe something to be said for just, it kind of goes back to maybe last week a little bit, like strokes gained guys who give a rip situation where like there's just some guys at this tournament that need it more than others. And are putting, obviously all these guys are having to put up with a lot of the COVID protocols and crap that's going on in Bermuda and the rules and regulations. That's why a lot of people aren't here. That's why a lot of people aren't putting up with it. But, I think guys that really need it, like a Mark Hubbard, guys that know you don't get a par 71, 6,800 yard track every week of the year on the PGA Tour. And I got to make my hay where I can make it. So a guy like Hubbard definitely needs that. A guy like Russell Knox, who's a guy that I really am interested in here at 7,700, and Knox is 45-1 on DraftKings and 60-1 on PointsBet. So again, a lot of value there on PointsBet. He's played here twice, finished 11th and 16th. The putting seems to be improving a little bit for Knox. He's made 2 out of his 3 cuts to start the year, but nothing to really write home about at the moment. He lost a butt ton of strokes at the Shriners, but gained a couple strokes before that. So it's kind of coming and going for Russell Knox, which is typical, but he's an interesting name here at 60-1 on PointsBet and 7,700 on DraftKings. So I like Knox. Who else in here? Who else? I think as you get down there, I mean, are we going to talk about the guy who's finished first and third at this tournament in 2 starts, Brian Gay, your defending champion, who's,
might as well mention him.
Whose mom?
You don't mention him and he wins, and what are we going to do?
Yeah, his mom owns that lingerie shop in Augusta, right across from Augusta National. We talked about that last year, I think. So, I mean, he's 100-1, and he's finished third and first. And he says he loves his place. He says he's actually where I pulled that Bermuda quote. He said last year the really grainy Bermuda greens and surfaces remind him of Florida and being at home, and he's comfortable on those places. So, Brian Gay is a cheap option. Like, I'd much rather have him than Ryan Armour even, and you save $1,000 or whatever it is on DraftKings. What is he? Yeah, $7,100. I mean, jeez. Another H name that I like, Pat, that I thought you were going to mention at 7,000 bare minimum. Your boy Bo Hostler. Like, this feels like a good Bo Hostler event. 16.
I thought you were going to say Bo Hogue.
I like him too. 16. I like a lot of H names in here too. Hostler finished 16th in his only event of the PGA Tour season so far at the Fortinet. Texas Longhorn, comfy in the wind. T24, T26 here in both outings. I mean, he's a tremendous putter. Hostler's a stick at 7,000, and I think he could actually win this damn thing. He's 80-1. Actually, where is he at on PointsBet? 80-1 on both PointsBet and DraftKings. So, I like a handful of guys in here. I would fade guys like Peter Uihlein. As much as I hate to say it, my boy Vincent Whaley, I think I got to fade him. Anyway, that's the 7K range for me. You ready to move on? Or do we want to quit, or do we want to keep going?
No, let's keep going. You got to do the 6K range, because
I'm going to keep asking if you want to quit or not. Because
love
Cameron Percy. I mean, is this not a Cameron Percy week, Pat? I know you're a big Cameron.
I'm a big guy. He's the number 1 person I have written down.
69 hunch, played here twice, T26 and a T48. Percy, doesn't do a whole lot on the PGA Tour from a regular, on a regular basis, but he makes a ton of cuts in a lot stronger fields than this. And he's actually, he gains strokes off the tee with accuracy, and he's a really good iron player, like damn good iron player. If you look at his strokes gain approach numbers, like, you'd be surprised how good Cameron Percy is with the iron. So If he can make a few putts, that'd be refreshing for old Cameron. Now, according to Fantasy National, he sucks in the wind, but I got to believe all Aussies, 100% of Aussies are good in the wind. So I refuse to believe whatever Fantasy National is telling me about Cameron Percy. Not going to do that. I like Vaughn Taylor, man. Fellow Champions Retreat member, Vaughn Taylor, 68 hunch. And I mean, let's think about this. A 6,900 yard short course, coastal, windy conditions, a little place called Pebble Beach. Ever heard of it? You know who's won Pebble Beach? His name is Vaughn Taylor. Could be interesting. Finished T40 here last time out. Not really any solid form to write home about. But again, this is one of those tournaments where Vaughn Taylor needs this tournament. He also needs it to get windy, because I will believe Fantasy National on Vaughn Taylor, because he's a stud in moderate or windy AF conditions. Vaughn knows how to ball strike his ball in the wind. Okay. So I'm down with Vaughn Taylor. Good Bermuda putter as well. I like him. And then I'm going to give you two Korn Ferry Tour names. I say Korn Ferry Tour, recent Korn Ferry Tour guys, but they're graduates now, PGA Tour rookies. The first one is a guy, actually, what'd you say?
I said, please don't say mine.
Austin Smotherman. Was he yours?
Yes. Damn it.
He was?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're not getting the heavy petting emails since the first event of the PGA Tour season and for the next however many, I'm profiling two recent graduates from the Korn Ferry Tour, now PGA Tour rookies, and I'm telling you a little bit about them, a little bit of background in a quick paragraph, quick blurb, telling you what they did well on the Korn Ferry Tour, what their weaknesses are. And a guy like Austin Smotherman checks a lot of boxes here. Played at Texas, played at SMU. I think he was actually a teammate of Bryson DeChambeau. Very comfy in the wind. Cali kid, I think, born and raised. But good ball striker, very accurate, good total driver of the ball. Like, I think this could be an interesting spot for old young Smotherman. And the last one is our boy Andrew Novak, who Willie Wilcox we had on the show months ago talking about Korn Ferry Tour studs that he thought could do well. Novak was also another player that I highlighted in the heavy petting email a few weeks ago. Talked about his game. Very, very good, accurate player, ball striker, control, little 2-yard cut whenever he wants, as many times as he wants. Novak's a good player. He's won 30-1 along with Austin Smotherman at 130-1 on the betting card there. And they're both 4-1 to top 20. Those are just some long shot, Korn Ferry Tour studs. But I think Cameron Percy is the pick here at 100-1 and plus 350 as a top 20 and 6,900 on DraftKings.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on Smotherman. I think he's one of my favorites here in this category, and Percy as well. And then also I was, Smotherland's 12-1 to finish top 10. You may have mentioned that, but I think that's a good one.
No, I didn't mention his top 10 number. I mentioned his top 20 number.
I think 12-1. He could still, top 10. If you look, I think he's a great play this week.
And actually, I just saw on PointsBet, him and Novak are 150-1 on PointsBet. Looks like PointsBet's the way to go. This is a great example, folks. Why you got to have more than one book. You got to have accounts at more than one book.
I think that's about it for me. I don't really have much else in this range. So there you go.
Any other top 20? Well, actually, why don't we do this? Why don't we, before we move on to member guest stuff, first of all, I was going to say this about this field, Pat. It's so bad. And I tweeted this earlier. I actually think the harder thing to predict is who would finish last. Like, instead of picking an outright winner, you had to pick an outright DFL guy. And now there could be ties or whatever. But I mean DFL, like if they miss the cut at like plus 12, that's your DFL guy. Like, who is going to be the worst? Or should you do it with 4 rounds? I was going to say people should comment in the YouTube comments. We need you to comment. It helps us out. Although I don't even know that we really want this show promoted at all on YouTube. So maybe not. I don't know. You do you. Thumbs up if you want. Subscribe for sure. But maybe comment. I think it would be interesting to see if people can predict who would finish DFL in this field. Do you have a guess who that would be? Like, anybody you would take?
Ted Purdy.
Ted Purdy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any reasons why or no?
I think Ted Purdy played in the member guest with us last weekend.
Yeah, I think he was in our flight. Jeez,
I think he may have been in our flight.
That dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Richard Johnson, old Dick Johnson, is probably.
No, come on, you can't do Dick that way.
Well, I can do Dick that way, yeah, and I just did. So
Okay, all right,
there you
fine.
go. Anyway, put that in the comments. Who you think's going to finish dead last in here? I think that would be interesting. Also, shout out. I forgot to mention this. We are only maybe 4 events into the PGA Tour season, Pat, into the new Nut Hut Finals season, and
Mhm.
we already have a 2-time Nut Hut Listener League winner.
Wait,
Last
what?
Yeah, last week, JKR Chris won again.
Mm.
478 points for the Zozo. It's his second victory of the season, which means he gets bonus points.
Inside track to a trip to probably Augusta because this year's winner one is going to Savannah. I have
Yeah.
a feeling it's not going to. Lightning will strike me if if the winner chooses Savannah 2 years in a row.
I will tell you this, if JKR Chris doesn't change his effing DraftKings avatar to a Tour Junkies avatar,
He can't win.
which many are available to be downloaded in the Nut Hut. There are multiple different versions of them thanks to Crazy Marcus in the Nut Hut. You just got to click on TJ avatars on the left-hand side in the Nut Hut and download any of them. If he doesn't change that by the time he wins the next one, I'm not giving him his bonus points. And I'm not kidding, Chris. I'm not kidding.
I said he couldn't win. I think he can win, but there may be some things
That
that
we don't do.
that we don't do.
He
That
doesn't
you
get.
don't. Yeah.
So anyway, all right, Pat, why don't we button up this cluster bang of a field, the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, with our covers, kind of our early leans, some bets that we feel like,
Okay.
you might want to hop on early. Now, we've talked a lot about some discrepancy in some of these books, right? There's been some discrepancy, and we only tend to mention a couple of them here on the podcast, but definitely recommend you shop around. And covers.com is a great place to go ahead and shop around. They can tell you where a lot of the best odds are. But there's a lot of guys in here that these books have all over the place. So you need to do some shopping. But there's some discrepancies here, some numbers here that I think we need to go ahead and say, hey, yes, weather could be a factor. Yes, that means that with a 130-man field and tee time wave advantages, that could be real as well. We're going to need some, we might need some more intel before we really lock these in. But these are the ones that I would consider going ahead and getting some exposure on before that happens or before those numbers shorten and these books wisen up. Who you got? Who are some favorite picks just to get on early?
Well, starting with the shorter odds guys, and I know you've talked about the fact that we've had shorter odds people or players
Yeah.
win a lot of these first few events.
People and
So
players. They're people and players.
they're people players.
Yeah, they are people players.
And anyway, so I'm going to
Nice.
start with Mito Pereira at 25-1. I think as far as the shortest odds guy that I would want to go with, he is at 25-1. I think that is a very good number for him. So I would bet that early because I've seen it as short as 16-1 in other books. So if you get him at 25-1 in that range, I think that's a good number. Seamus Power also at 35-1, I think is a really good number for him. And then the other one is Taylor Pendrith at 50-1. I think, I've seen him a lot shorter as well. We mentioned him earlier. I think that is a great number for him at 50-1. And there's a lot of guys I think in this 50-1 range actually that you could look at, and maybe you have a couple here, but those are the top three that I really love this week.
Okay. I love the Taylor Pendrith bet. I do think you got to jump on that one early at 50-1. Instead of the Mito short kind of number, I think Danny Willett at 40-1 is the number for me. A guy who just won recently on the European Tour. He's obviously a good win player, just a good stick in general. He's also I like him also as a top 20 at plus 170. I only have that on one book for now, but I'm sure there's more coming out, obviously recording this on Monday night. So I like that number. I'm going to go with Homeless Mark Hubbard, Homeless Hubs at 60-1 to win outright, and Russell Knox at 60-1. Both guys kind of do the same thing. Well, actually, they kind of don't. They're both really accurate. Hubbard is an amazing putter, has to have the irons in check to be able to go deep in a tournament. Russell Knox, ball striking has been tremendous. Putter is ice cold, so you just need the putter to get hot. I like both of those guys, both playing well, and both 60-1 outright, and I like both of them at top 20. They both arrive in some semblance of form. They're both plus 240. And then Bo Hostler at 80-1. I talked about the Texas guy. He's got a good record here. He already started off the PGA Tour season with a top 20 at the Fortinet, I think. He's 80-1 outright, 3-1 top 20. So I like him. And then Cameron Percy, I talked about the Aussie, great iron player, you know, and just consistent, like makes a lot of cuts on a lot tougher tournaments. I think a top 20 is in play for him at plus 350. I don't know that I want to go full outright on Percy. It's not my favorite bet in an early lean, but I like the plus 350 number to hop on that now. So there you go.
All right. Well, a few more for me.
Okay.
I mentioned Ryan Armour. I got to go with him. He's at 60 to 1. If you want to bet him top 10, I think you can do that as well. I like Nick Hardy also at 70 to 1. I think that's a good number for him. If you like Mark Hubbard at 70 to 1, why not go with some Nick Hardy also? I think that's a good number there. And then longer odds guys, Grayson Sigg is a guy that we've seen win a lot on the Korn Ferry Tour last year. He won what, twice, maybe 3 times? Probably had a chance to win 4 or 5 times. I don't know. But Grayson Sigg was one of the biggest number differences I saw. I saw him at 100 to 1 on PointsBet, but then 50 to 1 on DraftKings.
Wow.
That's a big freaking difference right there. Grayson Sigg is a great ball striker. This is a good course fit for him. So at 100 to 1, I think that's a good number. And then Austin Smotherman, who we both talked about, he's at 150 to 1 outright, but you can also get him as a top 10 at 12 to 1. I think that's a good number for him as well.
There you go. All right, Pat. Let's wrap this up before we move on to any member guest discussion that we want to get to with the 1 minute men and the lineup build for DK. We moved this to 1 minute last week. We successfully made it happen. Although the lineup was not successful, we successfully were able to agree on 6 names that we would put in a DraftKings lineup to enter in a GPP. Kind of going through some lineup construction thoughts. And so let's see what happens. Let's try this. I feel like this could be a little more complicated. Yeah. So you got the timer. I got the names. We got to get this done in 1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute.
Tell me when to start.
Very efficient. No, you tell me.
1, 2, 3, go.
Taylor Pendrith.
Yes.
Mark Hubbard. Russell Knox. I'll go Nick Hardy. Russell Knox. I really like Russell Knox.
Yeah, let's go Nick Hardy and Russell Knox.
Love that. What about Hostler? I also really like Hostler.
I like Hostler, but wait, where is he?
7,000 or Percy 69.
All right, let's go Hostler. I do like that.
Okay, now we can go up. We got 9100.
What if you go up to like Jaeger because I think people are sleeping on Jaeger.
I love Jaeger. I love Jaeger. Where is he? How much time?
15 seconds left.
9,900 left. Who do we got? Hadwin, Willett. I like Willett.
Let's go Willett.
Willett. Done. Woo. All right, that was close. All right, so the lineup is Danny Willett, Taylor Pendrith, Stefan Jaeger, Nick Hardy, Russell Knox, and Bo Hostler. $600 remaining. Salary space, which is perfectly fine. Listen, that's something we didn't mention. Like, leave plenty. You can feel free to leave plenty of money on the table in a field like this. Awesome, man. I like that lineup, buddy. We did very well with that.
Yeah, I feel like that could be a good one.
I can't even believe we used to do this in 2 minutes. We're so good at doing it in 1 minute.
Yeah.
I can't believe we used to do it in 2 minutes. Can you believe I didn't do any more Island Boy jingles in that 58 minutes that
I thought that was going to happen. I'm so glad you didn't.
Do we want to? I guess we could play a little bit of this. We could play this video. I did a quick TikTok, which if you're not following us on TikTok, you should. Just at Tour_Junkies. But if you're not on TikTok, I don't know what to tell you. But I did do a quick little recap video of what the content that I did get on the member guest. We had my member guest at Champions Retreat this year. And so we can play that for you now. And if you're listening on audio, then you're just going to hear us talking over it and some nice music behind it. But let's maybe play that, see how that looks. Oh,
it's so sweet.
There's a broccoli tree.
Oh, I was hurting.
Old man Pat. I lost the bet. I paid off my bet, my pleated pants, my Tiger Woods outfit. What we got to do right there. We got to train the body.
See, here's the problem. There's like 150 people here, and I'm the only one in the gym stretching, and there's probably 100 on the range.
Gotta stretch.
And they're all older than me. Same time out, didn't stretch. None of these jokers stretch nothing.
Nobody stretching. Straight to the range. Here's Pat almost making this putt.
Oh, I almost made that.
Look at that candy. Fruit roll-ups. That was
They
my
had
favorite.
the fruit roll-ups as the best
God.
part of that.
Here's
Look how
Steve.
sweet. That's a
That's a sweet picture.
yeah.
Look at
Even
that.
sweeter picture right there.
That is broccoli tree hole. Drunk Pat and Arnie.
Look at me. Look at my eyes. Good
Oh
Lord.
boy. Spirit world there. Fairway Jesus, my boy Charlie, shout out. And us finishing runner-up for the
Look at it again. Like the 4th year. in a row.
Okay, so anyway, remember guess was a good time. You know what, guys? I got to be honest. So this is our 4th year doing this, 4th year runner-up in our flight. We did less content this year than we've ever done for the memory guests. And maybe some of you are disappointed. Maybe some of you don't care. Most of you probably don't care. But the reason I think for me, Pat, I was kind of evaluating it is because our first match, very first match out of 5, you're pumped up, you're ready to go. We get absolutely thumped and we get maxed. We get maxed out by an 8 handicap and a 16 handicap. And the 8 handicap shot 2 under with 3 birdies and a bogey. And the 16 handicap shot 1 over with an eagle net albatross. So we were basically like, okay, we are now done with everything. Like, we're done. Not only are we done, but every other team in our flight is also going to get just totally anal raped by these guys for the next day and a half. And therefore, we are all playing for nothing. We're playing for second place. We are playing for nothing because these guys should not be in our flight. They're clearly sandbagging son of a guns. You know who you are, Brad Jeffries. I'll call you out right now. And I heard that your son listens to my show. Your daddy he's a sandbagger. He's a sandbagging asshole is what he is.
Your daddy.
And if you know what? I think you're old enough and man enough, you could probably call your dad out on it a little bit and just say, Dad, it's time to get real, because Brad threw darts on us for 9 holes. When I say he made 3 birdies, it wasn't like miracle chip ins and long putts. No, it was like he hit 3 balls to within 5 to 10 feet and made the putts. So it just
I don't know many. It's probably happened once before, maybe in my lifetime, but I don't know many 16 handicaps that can hit it on a par 5 from about 240-ish out.
Yeah.
With a 3-wood to 5 feet and make the eagle. Like, I don't know of many 16 handicaps that can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just what it is. I mean, so again, I thought but I will say this, that first loss was terrible for us. I feel like we came out of
ourselves from a content perspective.
It really did. It really did. Because
in the past, we've been like in the hunt. So like we'd update people, be like, this is what we got to do. This is what we just did. And like for this, it was just like, oh, well, now let's have fun.
We were so behind the 8 ball in the first match. Now, we did finish strong. We finished really strong. We maxed out our last 2 matches, which were both on Saturday, and still had no shot to win anything, but we maxed them out.
Yep. And Pat did not. Hey, first year in 4 that Pat did not top a tee shot or hit one off the metal tee marker 20 yards in front of him, right?
No, actually, I hit. I don't know of any tee shot that I really missed all that bad.
Yeah, it was the first.
There may have been one that was like a worm burner that went 200 yards, but for the most part, I think most of my tee shots were really good.
Yeah. And we both came in with the highest handicaps we've ever come in at. Like, I'm a 10, Pat's a
14,
which is higher than we've ever been. Like, I mean, we've worked them up, nursed them up, which was good. We did it right. And we actually played. I mean, we played, close to our numbers. We each had 9s where we played a little bit better than our number, but not freaking, 8 shooting at 2 under or 16. You didn't shoot +2 on a 9. Or
so the first group that we played against We had to quit the match because it didn't matter because there was only a max amount of points that you could have. They were 7 under. That was net, but they were 7 under net, and some of those were actually gross birdies. But then they had the eagle net albatross, which is that's 3 under on a hole.
They had 3 gross birdies and a gross eagle in 7 holes.
I mean,
3 gross birdies and a net eagle. I mean, and a gross eagle in 7
net
holes.
albatross, yeah.
So anyway, it just kind of got us behind the 8 ball, and then the content just didn't come because it just wasn't. We weren't feeling it. It was a great time, great event. Golf course was beautiful. Our boy Steven, he's our caddy every year. He killed it. He crushed it. He was awesome. The food was good as ever. Pat, we had good times at night. We definitely had good times at night. I felt like, this year, one thing I did different, I tried to do different this year was, and I made a conscious effort of this. I even side texted people and bragged on myself about this. I came into this year putting not a lot of pressure on Pat. I did not want to put pressure on
You
Pat.
didn't, and you did. I will say, I'll admit this. You did not, and I think I played the best this year that I have in all 4.
You did,
even though we weren't close.
You did. I mean, but for the last year, Pat has itched and moaned about how much pressure I put on him in the year prior. And so I am not going to do that to Pat. I'm not. I had pressure on myself. I had a lot of pressure on myself.
I think
I put more pressure on myself.
Actually, that was a problem. That was a problem. I'll admit. Here's something I'll admit. I think you diverted that pressure that you used to put on me onto yourself.
You're admitting that for me?
And you caused some problems for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. But man, I mean, anything else? I don't. It just wasn't that eventful. Like it just.
No.
It was fun. We had a good time. We had good nights. I wore the damn outfit that. I wore the outfit that Ben made me wear, and I can't ever remember his name. The Nut Hut member that was a Goodwill in California, and he shipped me the outfit with the baggy, cuffed, pleated Dockers and the old school Nike purple polo that Tiger wore. That was fun. I wore that Thursday night to the dinner in Calcutta. So that was.
We didn't even have any, like, from what I can remember, like ridiculous, funny shots, like me topping it and hitting the tee markers, or. If anything, I remember some really good shots I hit as opposed to any bad ones.
I think I hit that.
You almost had on the which would have been the first shootout hole, although you wouldn't have been the one. Well, actually, yeah, you would have been the one hitting the second shot. DB almost made a hole out eagle.
Yeah, from like 94 yards. I hit it like 4 inches. Thought it was going in. I guess the worst, like the most laughable hole for me was the par 5 where I snap hooked it so bad off the tee.
That's the same par 5 that I topped it off of.
Yeah, it's the same part. That par 5 does not have good mojo for us. I snap hooked it so far left, it went beyond the water hazard left, well beyond the red stake into the woods, but it was red stake, and we found the ball. And so I swung as hard as I could to try to get it out of what it was in and over the creek and in the fairway, and it landed in the creek, but it landed among the rocks and the mud, and it was halfway hittable. So this was in the first match, and it was only the 3rd hole of the first match. And actually, the first match, they birdied. He hit it to 5 feet and made birdie. We're down 1. And then on the par 3, I hit it to 10 feet and birdied.
So which is
now
crazy,
we're even,
considering what they did after it.
And then after that, they just boat races. But then on the 3rd hole, so we're all square. So like we're battling. I'm sitting here laying 2 on this par 5, and I can hit the ball, but I'm gonna mess up my club. So I go ahead and put a club on it in the rocks, chunk it out there like 50 yards, and then stripe a 7-iron to 15 feet pin high, and actually had a 15-foot par putt before, old Brad knocked in the birdie putt, and it was over anyway. But I nearly saved par from left of left and from the rocks, and now I have a dinged up 8-iron to show for it and nothing else.
How about the next hole after that, which is this like I know everybody hates when you're going through so we won't go through all the rounds. Like I'm not like, but the next hole is something that's never happened to me before. I pull it. I mean, I hit a drive. It's not terrible. I thought it was actually going to end up pretty good. I pull it a little left. It's a short par 4, and I'm in what it appears to be like tracks from a tractor or something, and the ball is sitting down in there. And I have to admit this: I did not think I should get relief, but we asked for relief, and old Jeffries said, "Well, that's boar tracks from a boar." Now, I used to grow up. I grew up out on this land, actually, fishing and doing some duck hunting, and there actually are a lot of boar.
Yeah, no,
boars.
when I first joined out there, we had a wild boar issue.
Yeah, and apparently he said that had something to do with boars, and he still gave us relief. He gave me relief. I couldn't believe it.
And then what'd you do?
And then I chunked it because I had the worst drop you could possibly.
Like so bad. I was like, well, we did all that for nothing.
It was a perfect. It looked like a pro doing this drop. I put the club out. I put a tee down. I like trying to get it. The first drop. Remember, it jumped forward, and so I was like, I'm gonna drop it again.
We actually brother-in-lawed very nicely. Like in years past, me and Pat would both be out of a hole, and it'd just be like, well, we're done. Yeah. But we actually really like. We would have nines where I carried us for the 9 and Pat carried us for the 9. And then, it definitely went that way. It was good. I think we played the best we've ever played, but we couldn't outrun that first match, and that really killed us. Anything else really interesting? Oh, I definitely, like I said, man, I mean, Kistler's giving me a hard time about the stretching situation, but I'm just saying, man, like I started doing this a year or so ago. Too many of y'all suckers, you can't bend over. You can't bend, you can't barely touch your kneecaps or your shins or even God knows your toes. And being flexible when you get in your 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s is important. And I'm sitting there, Friday morning, it's 8:30. Everybody just went and had some breakfast and a Bloody Mary. Pat had a bloody in him, of course. I was getting a transfusion in me. And I'm like, man, I'm up here in this gym and it's just me and the Lord up here stretching. I got on my bike or my Stairmaster, heated up the hammies. You got to get them hammies hot, get them running hot, baby. It's like a car. It's optimum when you run hot. I got the hammies hot. I started stretch my hips, stretch my legs real good. You got to get that loosened up. And I'm thinking, and then all these old farts up here and these tight jokers over here they're on the range just whacking golf balls. So, I think the new thing the new routine for every amateur is you stretch, you warm up, you stretch, you make 15 full swings max, and you go to the tee. That's what I did. And it works for me. It definitely works. I've noticed the difference. It's better for me.
I don't think, I stretch. I'll tell you what,
You do not stretch. I did not see you stretch one time.
I don't have to stretch in a gym for
I didn't see you stretch. You didn't stretch on the driving range
because you were in the gym when I was stretching. I was down in the locker room, stretching in the locker room. Why do you need a gym to stretch?
I'll bullshit on that. You don't need a gym to stretch, but I don't believe that.
I stretch, believe me, every time. And I stretch in the shower. I stretch in the shower before I even get to the course.
Oh.
But let me tell you, this is not an advertisement, but it is. That Theragun thing I like.
Theraguns, where's that?
The Theragun is good. And then what happened on Saturday night?
Yeah.
I can barely remember, but we're at dinner. Yep. We're at dinner, and they start handing out Theraguns to everybody. Theraguns. Here's a Theragun. It was like Oprah.
Yes, Santa's elves came out.
Here's a Theragun for you. Here's a Theragun for you. It was I got that mini Theragun is what they gave me.
Yeah, good. they gave us a little mini Theragun. I mean, that wasn't all that we got for a tea gift, but that was very nice. I was not expecting. I thought the tea gifts were over. I thought they were over, and then there, boom, boom, bang, bam, we got one. So that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Man, anything else? I don't know.
No, that's all I got.
That's probably it.
It's a good time, fun.
All
We had a
right.
good time, but one of these days we're gonna make the Degum shootout, and there's gonna be a lot of content.
Yeah. Yeah, one of these days we'll see. All right, hey, listen, thanks for putting up with the Island Boys. They were just Island Boys, and we're just Highland Boys. Yeah, thanks, guys. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. May your screens be green. Hit some bets. We'll be in the Nut Hut. I guess we'll have some articles maybe, if everybody doesn't withdraw. So, have a great night. Thanks. See.